Could someone please fucking tell me what's the shit about this communist Nazist ideological fucking shit conflict of agenda that's never seems to fucking stop? Huh? You know, the last fucking time I wasn't there because I wasn't fucking born then, but the last fucking time the that conflict was a lot of fucking people die, and still it's got kind of like 50 plus a half fucking uh decade century after, and we're still fucking debating which one was not killing this kind, which one didn't kill this many people, this many million people. Well, my side only killed like 50 million. You are up to 60 or worse. What the fuck is that about? How can we fucking judge? Is that morality? Well, if that's the fucking case, then it's fucking easy to be the good dude, you know. Oh, you only killed kind of like 10 people last weekend? Well, good for you. I don't fucking understand this shit. Because you do know, I hope you fucking know, that both the communist and the Nazist ideological systems, or rather not system, political ideas, they were founded on socio-economical mm, in hard times of social economical function in the society. People were suffering from mm, mm, breakdown in society for those that had a um, least for those people on the ground with their hands and feet in the dirt, you know. So in that way they are kind of fucking born from the same problem, economical, from the economical system not working and being enabled to support the people with the function and the so they can feel that their desires and their ability to live a life worthy of living are maintained or even fucking possible. And that 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 grows some frustration, some anger, and some revolution shit. And you know, just because, and we haven't even talked about who financed which ideological uh, uh, frame of reference, because that wasn't, as far as I have got it so far, and I had a lot of studying to catch up to. But as far as I understood, I see it for today, that wasn't all uh, just coincidences, you know. Huh? But anyway, even if we leave that out, both both um, movements are founded in reality not working for the ordinary citizens. And you know, Karl Marx, where I don't know if he was which fucking I do know that he wrote The Capital. I, I think that's the translation. You know, his first book. He was working on it in 20 years, something like that. I haven't read it, but I read the beginning of it, and I was in beliefs a lot of fucking years in my life that even touching that book meant like I'm infected with the communist uh, Bible, you know. I was in that. I was um, sure of that. Even I was sure about, no, I wasn't sure. But the thing is, I read them both. No, not the capital, but I decided that I'm gonna read the book you can't read. You know, those that they wanna put on the fire. I wanna read those books. So I listened to and I took a deep fucking um, reflection before I did it, because it's not for everybody. You need to be fucking able to stand your ground. I was at that point. I had been I had learned. I was the kind of like the hip dude. Um, I was so fucking sure of my views on humanity and peoples. I knew that if I read Mein Kampf, I'm not gonna turn into some fucking Nazi dude. I knew. I took it as a challenge because people told me before I read it that you might not want to do that, because he was really fucking good at convincing people, and I took it like a challenge. He can fucking try with me. He can fucking try, and he did, but it didn't fucking help. But I learned something from that, and I read the to balance shit out. I decided before I read the one that I'm gonna read the other one. So I've listened and read the Communist Manifesto as well, you know, because I'm kind of like the academic dude in informations. I want to go to the source. I want to go to the source and see what the fuck does that, what is all the fucking fuss about? Because I learned that in a lot of other scientific reviews of research that I've done. That what I'm learned, what I usually what is learned, what is knowledge of today is always some fucking twist from the original viewpoints. I had learned that, so I wanted to check it out. And I know, just I've also read Siddhartha, so you can't fucking blame me to be either that or either that or either that. I will balance you out. Your fucking etiquettes, your froze, your tries to. If you try to define me, you're gonna fucking end up confused. And not a little bit. I mean a lot. They always try that one. Um, to, they tried it to the point that they got fucking confused and realized that it was of no use. But anyway, thing here, thing here is that you do know that Karl Marx wrote, you need to separate if you are to understand, because I saw someone just on the internet asking, can you read this book if you're not a communist? And I'm kind of like, yeah, you can read the fucking Nazi propaganda and not be a Nazi. But if you do it day out and day in, you're probably gonna end up in this psychological fucking trap where the one where if a lie is repeated and repeated and repeated, most people gonna believe it at some fucking point. So I wouldn't suggest it, but the thing is, of course, but the thing is, you need to separate, because both these ideologicals, they were founded in economical hard times of economical function in the societies. In Germany, we had this fucking angry Adolf dude, and we this fucking dude, what did he do? Well, his country was on sanctions. He got fucking angry. He starting riots in the beer saloons and all this shit. And that's not all the story either, but it started kind of like that. Um, and he was ultimately he was angry for the function and the economical not functioning, and he started blaming the establishment for his time. And when he did that, he identified that it was the Jews. So in the beginning, it started out as economical, and then he blamed them. But of course it wasn't, because of course, why was Germany on sanctions? Could it perhaps be because what they fucking did in the First World War? Huh? Was it not because of that the country had these economical problems to support the peace in the public domain of the people? Well, you could perhaps argue that that's the case, but he wanted to blame it on take the easy way. Um, that's one way to put it, anyway. And then you have on the other side Karl Marx. This dude with the beard. Perhaps you think about him as the father of communists, and in some ways he might be. But before he got to be that way, he wrote a book. He wrote a book called The Capital. And this is a book he wrote for perhaps 20 years. He wrote it again and again and again and again. And it, as far as I do know, and if you read it and you think that please leave a mark here. Because what I've learned so far is that this fucking book, it's not about political, ideological shit. It's about the systemic consequences from a financial systemic analysis of what will happen if money are created like this, and if the people's behavior continue to consume like this in a climate like this, when the mathematical functioning of the money supply or the systemic the rules. He was describing what will happen. You will have more fucking financial crisis. They will get worse because of this, and they will get deeper. The consequences, systemical analysis that kind of like Nostradamus foretold what would happen later on. That's systemic. But I haven't read the whole book, so perhaps somewhere there's found some political embryo of ideological communism, perhaps. But as far as I got to understand, that shit started not with the Capital book. Shit started with Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels writing the Communist Manifesto, and that is that is two dudes' political implementation for another system, for how they viewed that the alternative for not getting into these systemical consequences. So it's kind of like, as far as I got it, their solution, their a proposed solution for the systemic way. And we know what happened with that, with the solution. But that doesn't mean, because every fucking problem, I've learned this when I was by the age of 8. I had a really good fucking uh, uh, practical mentor. He told me that uh, he told me that every fucking problem, I I think he put the words a little nicer than I am. But anyway, he told me that every problem has at least two solutions. And I was kind of like 8, 9, 10. I didn't know what he was talking about. But because I didn't fucking understand this shit, I was the question. It got it got stuck in my head. How the fuck can this dude know? That was how I viewed what he told me. How can this fucking dude know? Be so fucking sure that every problem has at least two solutions. How can he fucking know that? He can't do that. How the fuck? I I can't lay that to absolute evidence. But I'm soon to be 35, and I had a lot of problems um, gone through my head, and still, I don't think I ever got into that point where I found that to be wrong. It might be rather the other way, that every problem at a minimum has two solutions. I'm the center. I'm kind of like center of gravity. So I'm not gonna stand here and say, "Hey, you should read this book. You should do this. You should do this. You shouldn't read this book or anyway." I'm just telling it as it is, as far as I fucking understand it, because that is better than what is the problem of today, where everybody, it's kind of like some PTSD shit. You know, the stress syndrome that is created from traumatic experiences. It's kind of like, because PTSD, that's the shit where the experience are replayed in the mentality of those suffering from it, over and over and over and over and over, and people are kind of like, they can't get past what's happened. That's PTSD. Before the last century, what the fuck did people think then? When the economic situation for the people started to become worse, did they start fighting with each other in fear that you're gonna kill me because some other one that said something about systemic error from that book for 50 years ago? He killed that dude. Didn't people before kind of like, okay, there's something wrong here? We can't blame it on communism. We can't blame it on Nazis, because that before we couldn't do that. But today it's kind of like obvious conflict As soon as the economical shit starts to go down, we have the communist Nazi conflict all fucking over again. I'm sick of it. It didn't work the last time. What the fuck? At least the last time they didn't fucking know what the consequences was supposed to become. We do that today. So we're even fucking more stupid. For sure. It's it's actually fucking insane, you know? And why is it like this? Well, I could tell you all about it, or you could watch my other videos on the subject. But perhaps it has something to do with the fact that in a cashless society of the system's approach for money creation of today, every fucking number that we think are money is actually low. Is fucking it's it's the opposite of value. It's the promise that we're gonna fucking work and repay what isn't our values or society's value. And that is a problem if you want to have the democratic system. And I suggest that if you wanna have the ability to influence your own sphere of interest, if the government, if you're sitting at home thinking what the fuck, democracy is fucked up, I want the other shit. Well, the other shit, it won't allow you in the long run. It won't allow you to make your point of view when that shit starts to mistreat you and not treat you like people. So I suggest, and if you know ev- you can't have everybody like a dictator, because that would be kind of like the purge. Hey, everybody's aiming to be king. Hey, take it on the. Uh, I don't know. Um, it's just fucking mental. For me, it's mental. Why the fuck is this a problem of communist or Nazi, or who the fuck are benefiting from that shit? Could it perhaps be those that like the system as it is? Perhaps those that, well, does the rule have a color? Does the rule have a color? Does that? Please tell me. Mm. Mm. If the democracy are in its essential function, um, distributing value to the people, to the society, to the police, and to the welfare, or the hospitals, or this and that and this and that and that and that and this. If the essential function of a democratic society, or any fucking society, um, are the prioritization of distributing value, and this value is owned, not created and controlled by the government, but owned and created as debt to the government from other interests. Do that sound like democracy to you? Does that sound like isn't does it sound like when the money supply, when the liquidity in the system are getting broken down to fucking nothing? Do you think your best fucking aim to create a better society is to 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 point at your fucking neighbor that also has realized that, okay, there's some fucking problem here with society because we don't have the money? Do you do you think it's better? Does it become better if you break him down, or punch him to pieces on the street? What the fuck? What will that change? The system is the system still. You need to talk about that shit for real.